Jason, I mean, you and I got to tag along with Elon during that transition phase at Twitter. And the thing that I took away from it was just how much agency, CEOs have that they're not using. I mean, Elon went in there and he basically changed whatever he saw that he didn't like. I mean, unsentimentally and quickly. And, and so you look at all these other companies, you talk to CEOs sometimes, and they act like they're prisoners of their companies. Like, I can't change this, I can't change
Stockholm
that.
syndrome, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I've got all these employees and all these layers, but I can't, there's always some reason I'm afraid of the bad PR or, whatever it is. And the thing I came away realizing is just how much agency, particularly founder CEOs have, that they just don't use. They're always like hemming and hawing and wringing their hands and acting like they're tied down by this or that. And the reality is they can do whatever they want, just about, within the bounds of what's legal. And I think they're starting to realize, oh, wait a second, like I actually can do that. I can walk into my company one day, and if there's a team that's not performing, that's giving me answers that don't make any sense,
I could start over.
I'm just going to start over.
Yeah, reboot.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can't get it done, then we need to have somebody who can do it. And it's incredible. Like, we were doing an analysis on This Week in Startups of the, employees per company and the revenue per employee per headcount. And I got roasted for having this conversation. And now here we are, Chamath. People are looking at efficiency. We're looking at, really how efficient can these companies be run? Is there a limit to where this is going? And if we were to look at this as a process, where are the FANGs, the Amazons, the Googles, Facebooks, where are they at in terms of percentage to being at Elon? If you were to put Twitter and Elon as the goal, where are these companies? And I don't know that is the goal. Maybe he's cut too much. Who knows? We'll find out. I think it's a pretty radical experiment he's doing there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's a reasonable or an achievable goal for a public company.
Okay.
I mean, I think the thing we have to keep in mind is Elon's also capable of doing that because he paid $44 billion of his own money to buy something that he owns outright that no longer has revenue pressure to outside stakeholders.
Different circumstance.
Revenue went down 70% at Twitter. Well, that only affects him and his ability to pay whatever he borrowed in order to buy that company. And as long as he's willing to fund that somehow, he's literally allowed to do whatever he wants. That's no longer the case when you're borrowing money from other people to build your business, which is what every other capital market participant does, public market participant does, and private market participant. So I think that distinction is just a little bit important because it probably means that there is a shadow of what Elon is doing that's probably the threshold of what's possible. And it's probably, sort of 50% headcount reduction. That's probably the bound in which things break. Because I think the thing to keep in mind is that over time, this stuff is like collagen in the body. It just it creates these interconnected webs of just very difficult stuff sinew that you cannot tease apart.
Blockages.
So even if you try to go in and cut 50% of a company like Facebook or Google or Microsoft or Apple or Amazon, it would be so difficult because all of a sudden the coordination that happens at that scale, I think, would get lost. So I'm not sure if it's possible. You kind of have to do what they're doing, which is cut 5%, then cut 10%, then cut 5%, then cut 5%. And I know it frustrates people on the outside looking in, but I think it's probably the only way it can be done without torpedoing the company.
What does that do on a culture basis then? Because that is the big critique. Hey, you're creating now this culture of fear. I guess the opposite of that is you're creating a culture of performance and expectation. So how do you think about it on a culture basis? Because that keeps coming up from founders, to David's point.
It depends, because I think companies, when they're smaller, I mean, I can tell you, when I was a part of the Facebook senior management team, we would rank all the employees. So we had a very good sense of who was the best and the most performant all the way down to who was not. And we were able to do that probably up to 2,000 or 3,000 employees. That's not possible at 50,000, and nor is it fair. So because you don't know who these folks are, the real contributors are, you have to do what Elon did, which is literally go person to person and say, who is unbelievably performant or critical.
Yeah.
In the absence of doing that, you just don't know who to let go. And so you have no choice except to bleed down.